We are on week 19 with letter S. It can be one of the trickier letters to draw, but there's a little trick that should help you. So this is what the S we're gonna draw looks like. It has some ball serifs at the end. And you might notice that it almost looks like, it's not a very good drawing, but a 8. So if you draw an 8, that will help you get the basis of your letter S as far as the top, the spine, and the bottom. So let's go ahead and make a new layer, and right in the middle, roughly stick to your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks that we've been using. And then just draw a number 8. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going to use that as kind of the basis for our letter S. So now I'm going to tap my N, reduce the opacity of that letter, and add a new layer above it to actually draw my letter S. We're going to be using that kind of mustardy yellow-brown color again. So I'm just going to start sketching my S. I'm going to make my pen a little bigger. Following the curves of my letter 8. And again, we'll sketch and then we'll draw a final form. So go back and redo it as often as you need to. The other thing to know with a weighted letter S where we have thick and thin lines is that the weight is always on the spine. A lot of beginners will weight it incorrectly and add weight maybe to the top or bottom, other places, but it always goes right here, and this is the spine along that. So we're gonna keep our weight fairly thin at the top and also at the bottom. So I'm just gonna kind of sketch those in with a simple arc shape. And then our weight is going to increase along the spine. So I usually do one side like that, and then the other side like that. And that will just help you keep your S looking as it should. And then for the ball serifs, the easiest way to do it is to just draw a circle. And then I'm gonna tap my finger down to get that perfect circle and put it right there. And then you could duplicate that to get your ball serifs exactly the same size, or you can just eyeball it like that. And then let's go ahead and drag and drop our color in so that we can see how it looks. That's not too bad. I might want to thicken it just a little along the spine to have more contrast. So I'm going to do the same thing and come in from each side of the spine just to kind of thicken it up. And then when we draw the final letter, I'll refine it a bit. Oops. All right. And I think it needs just a little more here. So that's not too bad right there. So I'm going to use that now as my base for my letter S. I'm going to delete out our initial sketch. And now I'll take my top layer, reduce the opacity, and create a new layer for my final letter S. So for this one, I'll probably start at the top and let Procreate help me make some of the arc shapes. And I think this side needs to be a little thicker to match the other side. I'm just gonna kind of go around tracing my lines, but altering them as needed as well. Let my arc shape form again, and that's just by holding down my pencil after I make the arc shape, just like when you're doing a line or a circle. Oop. Make my ball serifs again. And now I'll go ahead and color it in. I'll delete out my template layer. And now I can really focus on refining my letter so that it looks nicer. Whoops. So I'll use my eraser tool. Kind of smooth out my lines, and I still need some weight up here to kind of balance this side out. So again, I'm just eyeballing it and continuing to add and remove weight until it looks visually appealing to me. Sometimes, especially because I'm a lefty, I really end up shifting my canvas all the way upside down as I refine things. So I'm just gonna keep going with that until I'm super happy with the end result. But I hope that little letter or number 8 trick will help you. You can also draw it instead of doing an 8 like this, if you wanted to do 2 circles, and just make the bottom circle. Actually, let's do it on a new layer. The bottom circle will be slightly bigger than your top circle. And you can do it like that. Reduce your opacity, and that will help you make some different letter S shapes as well. And then you'll just kind of do the same thing. So we've got more of a thick letter S there, or wider. And then you'll add your weight, just like we did before, to the spine. And again, you can color it in and then kind of play with the different elements. Or if you're doing a mono weight S, then you would just maybe use a thicker monoline brush and kind of trace it. And if you want to square off the edges, you can do that. But that'll help you get a more consistent S shape just using your number 8 as a template. All right, that is it for this week. I'll see you next week for letter T.